And there are those that would make some people believe that because I happen to be Black and or a woman, that somehow, even though I can rattle off all the qualifications in the world, my Blackness makes me unqualified.
Y'all should have never got this sister started. Welcome to Street Politics. My name is Reese Waters. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. Now, I have previously exposed here on this very platform the stupidity and flat out racism and all this anti-DEI rhetoric, be it Claudine Gay. Claudine Gay has suffered attacks on her character and especially her record. You know, the record that includes a BA from Stanford, a PhD from Harvard, being a Stanford professor, a Harvard professor, Harvard's dean of faculty, and finally Harvard's president. A school that's had multiple presidents with no PhD, but she has one from Harvard. I suppose that's not enough. The Boeing fiasco or the Key Bridge in Baltimore. Now, just put aside for a moment, how the f is this the mayor's fault? Links to those are in the bio, by the way, but Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett just dropped the mic.
I just want to go over a few things that are concerning and alarming to me. I don't know if you're familiar, but have you ever heard of Project 2025?
I've read about that, Congresswoman.
Okay. And there are some things indicated in Project 2025 that are quite concerning to me. And I want to talk about a few of those topics because this hearing almost feels like a Project 2025 hearing. One of those topics is diversity in the workplace. The agenda includes making sure that the next conservative administration dismantles DEI apparatus by eliminating various chief diversity officer positions, et cetera. And you engaged in an exchange earlier with one of my colleagues, and I don't know if you recall, but it was hit me a little differently as a Black woman sitting here, because it almost seemed as if you either get diversity or you get qualifications. It did not seem as if my colleague understood that someone can be diverse and qualified. And it is why you have people like me that get very frustrated, not just in the halls of Congress, but in general in this country. Because as I'm sitting here, and there seemed to be this question of you're either diverse or you're qualified, all I could think about was the fact that I currently hold an honorary doctorate. I also hold a juris doctorate. I also hold a bachelor's. I also technically hold the rank of lieutenant colonel in the Civil Air Patrol, and I actually practiced law for almost 2 decades, in addition to serving on various boards, in addition to being a prior state lawmaker. And there are those that would make some people believe that because I happen to be Black and or a woman, that somehow, even though I can rattle off all the qualifications in the world, my Blackness makes me unqualified. My question to you is that the attitude that you subscribe to?
You are either diverse or you're qualified. Now, the anti-DEI crowd would argue it's about the best person for the job, right? Regardless of skin color. Then how come you never point to nepotism, huh? How can we never point to nepotism or any of the cronyism that's involved? Your man, Donald Trump, just appointed his daughter-in-law to head the RNC because she was the last person left in the family who wasn't already working in the administration. Well, see, the thing is, because when I put on my red hat, see, I wasn't the best person for the job. But when I put on my red MAGA hat, then it's the best Trump for the job. I can't help it. And besides, if it was about the best person for the job, where in the world is all the smoke for Marjorie Taylor Greene? Lauren Boebert, anybody? Can you imagine if Jasmine Crockett had a mugshot? How about if her feed was filled with video of her working out?
Joe Biden, you're not a president. You're a piece of shit.
But meanwhile,
I currently hold an honorary doctorate. I also hold a juris doctorate. I also hold a bachelor's. I also technically hold the rank of lieutenant colonel in the Civil Air Patrol, and I actually practiced law for almost 2 decades, in addition to serving on various boards, in addition to being a prior state lawmaker. And there are those that would make some people believe that because I happen to be Black and or a woman, that somehow, even though I can rattle off all the qualifications in the world, my Blackness makes me unqualified.
it's pretty clear this ain't about qualifications. Now, I will throw you this bone. It seems pretty clear you don't vet anybody on that side of the aisle.
You know, Cain killed Abel. And that's the problem that we have. And I said, what we need to do is look into how we can stop those things. He talked about doing a disinformation. What about getting a department that can look at young men that's looking at women that's looking at just social media? What about doing that, looking into things like that, and we can stop that way? But yet they want to just continue to talk about taking away your constitutional rights. And I think there's more things we need to look into. This has been happening for years, and the way we stop it, by putting money into the mental health field, by putting money into other departments rather than departments that want to take away your rights.
But everybody you attack on this side of the aisle is a person of color. Now why is that? That is quite the coincidence. Is this some kind of passenger 57 thing? Always bet on Black?
Well, let me give you a word of advice. Always bet on Black.
In fact, the best argument for DEI programs is your own racism. No, they ain't ready. They not, because they not ready to hear this. They not ready to hear about themselves. You know what? I'm gonna give it to you. Your racism got away from you and wandered away from the porch without a leash. The sheer fact that you identify any Black person, whether they earn their position through years of service, DEI. They were nominated, DEI. If they were elected, DEI. That's the reason why diversity initiatives are necessary, because too many of you can't evaluate us based on anything other than the color of our skin. And you made that abundantly clear in your reaction to Jasmine Crockett. That is right, you played yourselves. No, we don't need no cash registers in this here store, because cash registers make you stupid. Hold on a second. What's that, $5.95? Okay, out of 20, there's your 10 back. Thank you for coming. You are literally proving the necessity for the thing that you detest so much. And that's before we get to the fact that, like Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott, Jasmine Crockett was elected. I guess that was some kind of special DEI ballots that people were casting in Baltimore and Texas. And what is that? Like a ballot made out of kente cloth? Is that what it is? Like a little kente cloth in the corner? Or is it just like an all black ballot with white writing on it? Is that what the DEI ballots look like? And if you're wondering, by the way, his answer to Jasmine Crockett was pretty interesting in itself.
My Blackness makes me unqualified. My question to you is that the attitude that you subscribe to?
Absolutely not, Congresswoman. And in fact, what we do at OPM every day is look to knock down barriers that are keeping qualified people like yourself, qualified people from all across America for pursuing federal jobs. Some of the things that we've done, for example, are eliminate unnecessary degree requirements and assess people based on the skills that they have and not just where they learned them. We have opened the doors to recruiting from HBCUs, HSIs, minority-serving institutions, populations that may not have thought of the federal government as an employer before. And we have a broad definition of diversity. There are rural populations that have in the past never considered the federal government as a potential employer because the offices were too far away and they would have to get up and leave from their hometown. Now there are some opportunities that they can stay right in that rural hometown and work for the federal government, let alone the amazing military spouses around this country who have to pick up and move in their jobs when their spouse is redeployed. Trying to tap in and keep that talent in government has been a big priority of ours.
Thank you so much for giving a plug to the Readiness Act.
Not bad. And the Readiness Act, by the way, is legislation that will allow more flexibility for working military and foreign services spouses when a service member is deployed or transferred. The bill was introduced by Congresswoman Crockett and Congressman Don Bacon and is endorsed by several organizations including Blue Star Families, the Military Family Advisory Network, and With Honor Action. But of course, she's not qualified. The irony is, while you're attacking her blackness, she's actually working for you.
And when we say things like we're fighting for SNAP benefits, I do want to be clear that me fighting for SNAP benefits isn't about my district. I mean, obviously it is, but at the end of the day, so many members have said, my district, my district, my district, my district, my district. When we write a farm bill, it is for everyone in the United States of America. And just to clarify, when it comes to SNAP benefits specifically, rural America uses more SNAP benefits than urban America. And right now, I serve an urban district. The majority of my Republican colleagues serve rural districts. So when I say that I'm fighting for a bill that includes making sure that people in this country don't go hungry, I'm not saying that just to say that this is about Texas 30. I'm saying that to say that this is about all of us. So I am not just fighting for my constituents, I'm fighting for yours too.
I bet you didn't know that, did you? I bet you had absolutely no idea rural America uses more SNAP benefits than urban America. I bet even they didn't know, because we've all been conditioned after Reagan's welfare queen trope back in the 80s. So you can sit there on the farm complaining about the blacks in the cities getting their free handouts, in between walking to the mailbox to get your free handout. And what's so bad, you will even work against your own interests. We will go hungry, because I know we get the handout, but we will go hungry because I don't want them to have it. That is a sacrifice I am willing to make because I am a patriot. If you're looking for somebody to blame, look around the neighborhood.
I want to start off by saying I think most Americans are taught at a very young age that you are who you surround yourself with.
Is the fact that my colleague from the other side of the aisle talked about the company that we keep. And she wanted to go through a list of people that she felt like were bad company, because right now the majority has been relying upon the testimony of someone who's currently sitting in federal prison. And we know that your company is the company of somebody who's been found liable of fraud, as well as defamation, as well as sexual assault, and for whatever reason can't pay his bills.
Go ahead. I'll wait.
But in this particular set of circumstances, we know that if somebody shoots at me, in fact, some would argue that last week I had a colleague that decided she wanted to shoot at me, I'm going to shoot back.
She's a bleached blonde, bad-built butch body, swinging for the fences, good God almighty. A heat-seeking missile, too scared to debate, cries like a baby when she don't get her way.